Hi there. This is just a quick video to bring something to all of your attention that I'll expand on in a later Daenerys video. That I was reviewing episode 4 of season 8 of Game of Thrones, Last of the Starks. I was reviewing the Blu-ray commentary. It's the point where the director of photography points out, oh yeah, the plot logic of the final scene makes no sense. Cersei couldn't be able to hear Tyrion from atop a city wall, but we used artful editing to try to hide it with a lot of close-up shots instead of wide shots, which would look ridiculous. So I started rewatching the episode, looking at the camera work, paying attention to are they hiding things between edits. And I think I stumbled on another piece of evidence that they drastically rewrote the Daenerys storyline, not even between season 7 and 8, but within season 8 itself, that there were earlier drafts and then later drafts. I'm going to run a clip of this because it's short, so I'll explain what you should be looking for. It's after Cersei's captured Missandei and she's looking out a window. Notice that at the beginning and end of the clip, every time they start talking about setup for what Daenerys is going to do, that, oh, if she attacks, she'll have to burn thousands of people to get into the city, you don't actually see the actors' faces delivering those lines. You don't see their lips moving head on. It's from off screen, and they hide it with editing. Suspiciously, those specific lines. Well, at the beginning of the clip, it's Qyburn saying just from off camera, "Your people have heard the usurper is coming. They are grateful for your protection within the walls of the Red Keep." This is a big point, that they kept setting up Dany will burn civilians in the Red Keep, like shooting through human shields to get to Cersei, which is ruthless but not insane. And then in the actual episode, she's randomly burning civilians in the streets, ignoring the Red Keep for a long time, like not heading straight to it at all. That at first we thought that was just a screw-up on their part, that might have been an earlier version of the shooting script, that they filmed it like that, then changed it in post-production. But Qyburn says that from off-screen, that they're not in the city, they're in the Red Keep. Big difference. And then when we actually see her lips moving, she says she's talking about that the dragon died, or that she's pregnant to Euron, that's just in the middle there. Pay very close attention to the end as well. I don't think this is Lena Headey, I think this is a body double. And whatever she's saying, her lines of dialogue do not match up to her jaw movements. You'll have to rewatch it a few times. You just tell me, it doesn't look like she's delivering the audio. The specific line is, "Keep the gates open. If she wants to take the castle, she'll have to murder thousands of innocent people first." Again, the castle, the Red Keep, not the city. And for people who like showing off actors' faces, she's facing away from the camera. It doesn't quite look like Lena. I know it's the same wig and same costume, but most importantly, her jaw movements aren't matching this line. So pay attention to that at the beginning and ending of this. You might have to rewatch it a few times.
Our message was well received then.
Your people have heard the usurper is coming. They are grateful for your protection within the walls of the Red Keep.
You're certain about the dragon?
I saw it sink beneath the waves.
That must have been glorious.
The glory is yours, my queen.
When the war is won, the lion shall rule the land, the kraken shall rule the sea. And our child shall one day rule them all.
She's coming for you.
Of course she is. Keep the gates open. If she wants to take the castle, she'll have to murder thousands of innocent people first. So much for the breaker of chains.
Did you catch that? I think I did.
Our message was well received then.
Your people have heard the usurper is coming. They are grateful for your protection within the walls of the Red Keep.
She's coming for you.
Of course she is. Keep the gates open. If she wants to take the castle, she'll have to murder thousands of innocent people first. Keep the gates open. If she wants to take the castle, she'll have to murder thousands of innocent people first.
And also, in the scene right after that, where Dany and her council are on Dragonstone discussing what they're going to do next, setting up the next episode, Dany, Tyrion, and Varys, when Varys discusses specifically the Red Keep, he says she's bringing in human shields. That is why Cersei is bringing them into the Red Keep, not the city. He says the Red Keep. His face isn't pointed at the camera. We're viewing him from behind and in shadow and pretty much off camera, to the point that it's hard to see. I don't think he delivered that line. So, going to splice that in too. Check it out. It's less obvious, though.
We will storm the city, my queen. We will kill your enemies. All of them.
Your Grace, I promised you I would look you in the eye and speak directly if I ever thought you were making a mistake. This is a mistake.
You saw my child fall from the sky. They took Missandei.
Cersei needs to be destroyed. But if we attack King's Landing with Drogon and the Unsullied and the Dothraki, tens of thousands of innocents will die. That is why Cersei is bringing them into the Red Keep. These are the people you came here to protect. I beg you, Your Grace, do not destroy the city you came to save.
So this is the evidence I stumbled on that looking at this. I noticed at the time after the bells aired, the next episode, that, they kept setting up that she was going to have this big moment burning civilians in the Red Keep. And then that didn't happen. They pretty much abandoned the Red Keep already. We didn't see civilians dying in it anyway, thousands of them. They were dying in the streets. What is going on?
Your people have heard the usurper is coming. They are grateful for your protection within the walls of the Red Keep.
Keep the gates open. If she wants to take the castle, she'll have to murder thousands of innocent people first.
Cersei needs to be destroyed. But if we attack King's Landing with Drogon and the Unsullied and the Dothraki, tens of thousands of innocents will die. That is why Cersei is bringing them into the Red Keep.
Well, a lot of you may have come to my channel recently because I just got cross-posted to two other big ones. Anomaly Inc., who did a great review of the behind-the-scenes material for the series finale. Based on all my research, he took all my crazy research of 4 or 6 hours and condensed it into one really easy-to-watch 50-minute version. He talks about all this extensively. And also Gray Area. She recently gave me a shout-out on her big video for the 1-year anniversary of The Bells airing was yesterday of We Support Dany, this can't be what really happens. And she pointed to my clips I made of the Blu-ray commentaries of Cogman claiming, we set this up from the beginning, we set this up since season 4 at least, when Martin talked to us. And the analogy I think of is if a girl is worried that her boyfriend is cheating on her with another girl, and he adamantly claims, I didn't have sex with that girl, why, I've never even met her. And then you find a TikTok video or something from a year ago of them extensively interacting in public or at a dance, something innocuous. But still, this person sat in front of you in math class. There's no way you physically never met this person. You clearly knew her. That was a lie. And if he just retrenches, just equivocating to, so what? It doesn't prove I had sex with her. And technically it doesn't. But it's you lied. very prominently, and you're just moving the goalposts. So what if I lied? It's just the way that, when you look at the commentaries I've been posting, that all of the writers are doubling down hard on this was always planned out, this was always planned out, and you know the TV apologists are going to try to retrench this into, what difference does it make if this is a new idea they came up with at the beginning of season 8? Or even, what difference does it make if the shooting script was different and they actually drastically changed the meaning of the scene in post-production? They'll just keep equivocating. But no, the fact that you doubled down now, like the boyfriend going, no, I never even met her, like, that makes you look bad, and you know it. But Anomaly Inc.'s video summarizes all my research, so watch that if you want the short version. But the point is this, that when I actually went through the Blu-ray content, I found the lost inside the episode for the finale, which they didn't air. They had spliced it into a longer 30-minute version by putting in stuff on, like, how to build sets and stuff. I spliced all that out just to focus on Benioff and Weiss and the actors and not the fluff stuff. And when you watch it, and it's full of gems of just lying, things we can prove are wrong, there's some Amelia lines in there. And on top of that, someone pointed this out to me, I'm very grateful, and I spread it, this video title, a YouTube video they put out, official video, titled The Mad Queen, for episode 5, that they then delisted. Anomaly Inc. explains this, Gray Areas video explains this, that you delisted this, but you forgot to delete it, and they probably took it down because it's full of contradictions. So, mostly the Mad Queen video, plus the inside the episode for number 5 and number 6, these videos they hid. If you pay attention to what Emilia Clarke is saying, it's not self-delusion. She is truly describing that her filming experience was different. You know, she's up on a dragon-back green screen rig. She doesn't see the finished episode. That at first I thought, for a long time, I thought it was they gave her a pep talk and gaslighted her into this complex explanation of, no, this really does make sense for Daenerys. She's not crazy. It's this moment of rage and passion at first that I thought they lied to her and convinced her about internal things. But the more I think on it, Anomaly Inc. is pretty full on about this. I'm hesitant for things I can't prove, but I am suspicious of it. You know, my whole thing is, if we go, this wasn't the real ending, that's a matter of opinion. If I can slowly find cited quotes and build a structured argument, it's slower but has more impact. So I'm not trying to go, oh, well, I don't know. I go with things I can prove. But, first point, there's this disconnect between what Emilia Clarke is talking about, what actually happened. The two big quotes she gave were, well, when Dany sees the Red Keep, she decides to make this personal. How is burning civilians in the streets personal for Cersei? And in the other video, she says, when she sees the Red Keep, she decides it's time to effing kill her. Kill her, Cersei, not turn around and burn civilians.
It's this feeling that you could call Targaryen craziness, you could give it all of these names that it doesn't deserve, because it is just grief. It's hurt. And she has this ability to make that hurt a little bit less just for a minute. And here she is sitting on this ridge, and there's the emotion, and there's the feeling, and the feeling is to fucking kill her. Sorry.
I don't think that Grey Worm can ever really see Dany as the Mad Queen. To him, she actually has a very clear sense of what's right and what's wrong.
So the running theory, Anomaly Inc. explains this, and there are variants on this, is that in the original version, all the civilians would be in the Red Keep itself. Dany would shoot through human shields to kill Cersei, possibly igniting wildfire by accident, because we see wildfire going off in the city and no one comments on it. And this would have been ruthless, but morally gray. Well, it's Cersei's fault for using human shields, not wicked, evil, and insane, grimacing while burning people in the streets she has no need to. And again, the equivocating and gaslighting will happen of, that isn't different. Oh, so what if she shot through human shields to get to the Red Keep versus carpet bombing women and children? They're the same. They're the same. They are not the same. You are trying to gaslight us. This is drastically different. And it's not even a difference between season 7 and 8, but based on the way Emilia Clarke is talking and she's referring to this as burning the Red Keep, I think you changed this since your shooting script. That even as filmed, they weren't going to do that. Now, obviously, the army's rampaging through the streets. That's too big to change in post-production. Anomaly Inc. explains that the theory is that she would attack the Red Keep, and the Northerners, angry about Ned and all they lost in the Red Wedding, would start rampaging, as with the Dothraki, and they couldn't really stop them. Which is what happens in the finished version anyway, but not some, I'm going to launch a genocidal campaign to liberate the world. Even that might have been equivocated, but it's not randomly killing civilians. That's crazy. That is silly that you tried to convince us of this. But the disconnect between, was she attacking the city or the Red Keep? And also, if you look at, I'm going to talk about this in the full video that I edit more carefully, in the guidebook, The Art of Game of Thrones, the book for all the concept art, there's this note on the page for the Red Keep. It's very important that the Lannister sigil is visible in the window. Like from the inside of the throne room, in Season 2, Joffrey changed it to a big Lannister lion, that they were pointing out, when from the outside of the castle, there's this Lannister lion emblazoned on the Targaryen castle. Probably because that's the thing that was going to set her off in a rage. They try to argue she sees the Red Keep, goes into a rage, and burns the city. No, wouldn't she be, like, burning the Lannister parts of the Red Keep? That makes more sense. And we get increasingly... So what I found here with that clip isn't entirely new theory. It's another piece of evidence for the pre-existing theory of, Dany wasn't crazy even when Emilia Clarke filmed this, and you changed it in post-production. That she's on a green screen. She can't see what she's burning. And that this was drastically changed. Or that they flat out didn't tell her long after they had changed it because she's not there. I don't know. As for how this happened in this episode, episode 4, of why is it that all of the lines specifically talking about burn the Red Keep, not King's Landing, are suspiciously when characters are off camera or facing away from the camera and it seems to be a body double because their jaw movements don't match. And, that might actually be Lena giving a different line, but it seems like a body double. Just as easily could be Lena saying a different line, I'm not sure. This is a pattern. Why is it that these are different from what actually happened? Well, what I think happened, it wouldn't make sense that they'd go back and edit in the original version of the script. If anything, they'd go back and want to redub this to say burn King's Landing, not burn the Red Keep. That's what would happen with sane people trying to cover their tracks by adding in references to what will happen later. But these are the idiots that left a coffee cup on camera, in the editing room, or didn't notice in the editing room that there's water bottles visible in the council scene in the last episode. They're sloppy. What I think happened is, if you look, these are all ADR scenes, which is standard practice for many TV shows and movies, that the actor's not available or you're redubbing it later. A lot of scenes in shows are actually redubbed. Like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, they said every line in the entire thing was redubbed with ADR. Just because that's how you do that. And it's, you film multiple takes anyway, that they then redub their own performance in a studio, in a soundstage, in the sound technician booth, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's weird when, you go through, the credits on Star Trek, you see, Patrick Stewart's physical double, when his arm is in camera, or you the body double from behind because he wasn't in set that day, and you leave an arm or something so they gives the visual impression they're there. Why would you need a body double for this scene if it is indeed a body double? It doesn't even need to be. I think because Cersei's chambers are a soundstage in Belfast, So when she's looking out a window, she'd be looking at either a green screen to fill the city with hundreds of refugees and castle walls, or they actually have a window in Dubrovnik that they filmed with extras there. I'm not sure, but either way, it'd be a green screen to Lena Headey so they can splice in the Croatia footage, or maybe it's all CGI, I'm not sure. So, if you rewatch the scene, that I think it's because looking out the window at a cityscape needs to be a green screen, or actually looking at real Dubrovnik, so they sent the body double to Dubrovnik to record the looking out the window parts. And she's not facing the camera, mostly just because of that, to hide that it's a body double. In which case, it wouldn't even necessarily matter that her jaw movements don't match Lena Headey. They might have just given her placeholder dialogue, the body double. Or it might be the same dialogue, but the cadence of her speech is different. The point is, it isn't uncommon for television to have an actor dubbing over a shot from behind of their own body double if they were filmed on different locations and they're splicing the two scenes together, one in the room, one looking out the window at a cityscape, green screen or whatever. So because these people are sloppy and production was falling apart, rather than that they went back to try to set up Dany going crazy, the opposite happened. This seems to be relic dialogue of when the original version was her burning the Red Keep only, shooting through human shields, not going full-on crazy and genocidal. My suspicion would be that the ADR studio accidentally got the older shooting script, and they forgot to update it. For whatever reason. Because, again, it's normal practice to dub in all of your own lines. And not just most prominently with Cersei, but even with Qyburn or with Varys in the next scene. Why are they talking about the Red Keep and not King's Landing as a whole? These are ADR lines that were dubbed in later, and I think they accidentally sent them the earlier script that hadn't been updated yet. And this is just like the Emilia Clarke video clips in the behind-the-scenes videos of her saying she really wants to make this personal, she's going to attack the Red Keep, she's going to kill Cersei, doesn't match what we saw. These are all relics of the original shooting script, and no, you do not rewrite a character from ruthless to genocidal maniac in the middle of filming. They'll again try to equivocate and go, so what if we change it at the last minute? That's normal. This isn't normal. Sorry, I'm angry. Just shouting that they will... I'm thinking 2 steps ahead, that even if we can prove the shooting script wasn't like this, not even a theory, not even season 7, when they were filming, it wasn't like that, and you changed it late into filming till she goes crazy and evil, when that is not what Emilia Clarke was even told. And my heart breaks seeing her in interviews. She is really rattled by this. What if they really lied to Emilia about this? And why would they need to? She signed an NDA, she's an actor, she does what they tell them to. They're cowards. Or either they were cowards who just thought, let's not tell her and just cheat her later by filming it on a green screen, or this was a change so late in the process, the better version is this was a change late in the process, so they weren't lying to her as such at the time, but they were willing to change it after she had finished filming. I don't know which. Again, there's a variance on this, but the big points are, this is once again another clue that the shooting script was different and you changed this mid-filming. And check out the other videos that I have. Check out the Anomaly Inc. one and the Gray Area one. I'm going to link them in the description below. I felt I like making this rambling video, just dashing it off without scripting it out. That's why it's so long, because of what they did yesterday. I feel bad about the whole, this is my I stand with Daenerys moment, but in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to be making a series on Will This Happen in the Books, and there will be specific Daenerys ones. Look forward to that. This is just a rough draft of notes I stumbled across while I was in episode 4. Today, I'm moving on to the notes, to the Blu-ray commentaries for episodes 5 and 6. We'll see what we find there. Made this just to point out to everyone, watch that clip. Why doesn't her lines match? It's probably a body double, might not necessarily be. The line is clearly dubbed. Or just the Qyburn and Varys talking that this is an ADR script that appears to be based on the earlier shooting script. I think. This is not a firm conclusion. It's another piece of evidence to the puzzle. And this will not be the last time I talk about it. So, what do you guys think of that footage? I'm very interested in that, of looking at it. I've watched it 20 times now. Why is it like this? This appears to be an earlier script.
Our message was well received then.
Your people have heard the usurper is coming. They are grateful for your protection within the walls of the Red Keep.
Keep the gates open. If she wants to take the castle, she'll have to murder thousands of innocent people first.
It's this feeling that you could call Targaryen craziness, you could give it all of these names that it doesn't deserve. And here she is sitting on this ridge, and there's the emotion, and there's the feeling is to fucking kill her. Sorry.